So the Bilt Mastercard kind of saved my you-know-what this week with its little-known secret perk that most people are unaware that it can do, and it actually saved me in a pinch during a real-life kind of disaster that I wanted to share with you guys today. So essentially what ended up happening was, if you guys were unaware, I live in Greenville, South Carolina. This is a place that was affected by Hurricane Helene. That was a hurricane that pretty much came through and destroyed a lot of different things. More specifically, destroyed a lot of North Carolina, like Asheville, about an hour away. And I feel for them. And this entire last couple of weeks, we've been trying to get donations out to North Carolina because they're in shambles. So that's really horrible. But here in Greenville, South Carolina, we were left with no power, no food in the stores, and no internet. So I've kind of just been going all in on damage control and trying to get things, everybody in my family completely good, right? So that's the main thing. And during this process, and how the Bilt card actually had me, well, was I was actually buying a house during this whole time. That's right, buying a whole house. And you know what happens when you buy a house, right? Things go wrong. And we happened to just close a couple of days before the hurricane, which is awesome. Everything went through well. But it was also a stress test for the house during this hurricane. And what ended up happening right before all of this happened? Well, my car kind of broke. If you haven't noticed, I'm in a white interior gray Tesla. This is not my car. My Tesla ended up having an issue. It was still able to be driven, however, I wasn't able to charge it, and the nearest service center to get this issue fixed was in Charlotte. So I had not enough range to get there, and I couldn't even charge to get there in the first place. So I had to have the car towed, leaving me completely without a car. So where the Bilt Mastercard comes in is that I was actually able to do one of their secret little tricks, and that is that the Bilt Mastercard World Elite, since it's the World Elite Mastercard, gives you Hertz Presidential Circle status. That's right, you guys are probably unaware, but it can do that, and it's very, very simple. Oddly enough, I'll show it on the screen right here. You literally just message Facebook Messenger, the Hertz Facebook Messenger, give them the CDP number, show them your Bilt Mastercard, your name, and then also your Hertz number, your account number. And they literally, no joke, within a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes at max, status matched me and gave me a Hertz presidential status. And why that was important was, well, I didn't need that to now rent a car because I was stranded since my car was in service. But it made the process so much easier because I was able to walk in on no notice with no hesitation and say, hey, I want to rent a car, pay a very low rate, so I think like the medium car rate, something like that, and I was able to be upgraded to choose any car I want on the entire lot.
All right, we walked back, and here's our car. President Circle charged us for, I guess, a lower end car, I guess what you would call a medium. So it ended up being just about $50 or $55 a day. And we ended up getting what they would consider their luxury car. Unfortunately, since this location's a little bit busier, it's at the airport, they mentioned that they don't have a dedicated person to bring us via President Circle to, you know, choose whatever car that you want. They're a little bit busier, so they're moving through apparently. But they give you the options of a few different cars. You can see the lineup here is pretty interesting. Nothing too standoutish, nothing too crazy, but I ended up going with the highest option because if it's the same price, might as well get the better option. So we got a Chrysler 300 here.
And that was being like the most luxurious cars. And I really, really love that because, well, not only did it make the experience cheaper, but also as we were moving boxes and I was trying to get stuff from the stores for not only my family, but a couple of other families and donations for North Carolina, you kind of needed a bigger car. And one thing I realized was that the bigger the car, the more expensive the rental, as per Hertz, is what they told me. So since I had the presidential status, I was able to pay a low rate for like a smaller car and then choose the bigger car for the exact same rate. And that really, really helped out a ton. Not only that, but also the process through Hertz and learning through them. This is my first time ever doing like a car rental agency. I've only ever done Turo, and that was many, many years ago. So my first time using a car rental agency, that being Hertz, the process was so smooth. I was able to just go to the airport. I took an Uber there or a Lyft, and then literally within 10 minutes of talking to them, I had a rental car and the keys in my hand.
Alrighty, and now let's try to start the car. Looks like we got a nice push to start. It's been a while since I've been in a gas car, you know. And also documenting the miles. We got 25,173
to go and help during this crazy time of this hurricane. So that was really, really helpful. And one of the bigger things also that ended up happening that I wanted to mention was that during this whole process, normally if your Tesla is broken, you could take it to the service center and they will give you a loaner car, right? Like the one I'm in here. They'll give you a loaner. So this way it's completely free. The charging is completely free as well. And it just makes the whole process a lot easier. But since I couldn't physically make it to Charlotte because I couldn't get there, I had to tow my Tesla there. I wasn't able to get my loaner car. So what I ended up doing was, since Hertz was very cool with me, I was like, listen, I called them up. I said, hey, I have to go pick up a loaner car, but I have to get to Charlotte, and that's 100 miles away. And is there any way possible that I could just take your car that you gave me, drive it to Charlotte, and then just drop it off there? Like, could I just do a one-way transfer, drop the car off there, and then this way I could go pick up my loaner car? Because there's no way I can go there and bring both cars back. It's just me. To which they said, hey, listen, hey. They didn't say hey that many times, but they said, hey, again, since it's this location at the airport, I guess apparently it's a corporate location, they were like, we have corporate cars that allow for one-way travel. And in this situation, you could take our corporate car, take it all the way to our other corporate location, which happened to be the Charlotte airport, drop it off there, and then you can, do what you want after that. And the only thing you have to pay extra is 30 cents per mile. And since it was 100 miles away, I only paid $30 extra to take their corporate car straight to Charlotte for a one-way transfer there. And I thought that was freaking awesome, because that is so much cheaper than my original plan, which is just to drop the car off maybe a day earlier and maybe get a refund for the amount not used, and then take an Uber 2 hours away to Charlotte. But no, Hertz said, listen, we've been through this before, here's what you got to do. And it made the drive so much more enjoyable. It made me save about $100 worth of, that Uber ride or Lyft to get out to Charlotte. And, I had the comfort of my own car to drive there and whatnot and do whatever I want, which I did film a little bit out there. Switched to this Mazda, which is actually rides pretty well. It's got 400 miles of range. We're almost at the airport right now, the CLT Charlotte Airport. Drop it off there and then pick up the car. So pretty cool, man. Oh, wow. Look at this metropolis of all Hertz vehicles, baby. Wow. Look at this. We're home. Alrighty, so they actually had this really long line back here where you can just kind of, they call it like e-return, I think that's what they called it. So you just drop off the car, you leave the keys in there, and they'll scan the VIN, you give them the extra paperwork, and they're able to return the car right then and there. So now I'm free. Car is returned, they're going to take care of it, and now I just walk free. And of course, taking videos before and after you actually do return it, just to make sure you have proof that the car is getting there in the same shape that you left it. So that, always want to have proper documentation and timestamps. However, in the meantime, I'm going to go see what you can get at the Charlotte airport in the President's Circle. I thought that would be pretty interesting. Right now, I'm in the 5-star lot, you can see right here. But I want to know, for ballers like us, people who got the Venture X, or people who have any worldly Mastercard who can give you complimentary Hertz President's Circle. I want to see what you can get here. And so right now, this is the President's Circle. So technically, had I booked from here, theoretically, you're able to just walk in, walk to any car you want. Sometimes they'll have like their own concierge that will walk with you. You're like, oh, we want this car with this car. And you just take the keys and then you head out there. Doesn't look too amazing though. I mean, they have like interesting selection here. Like this is a new Prius. I think this looks very nice. But nothing like extravagant. Pretty interesting too. I just noticed there's some Teslas here for rent. Here, where's the 100,000 that they bought a few years ago? I know they ended up selling them at a high discount. So who knows? Just thought that was interesting. And the cars themselves were pretty cool. When I went and picked up the first car, I actually chose because it was the biggest one they had and the most luxurious, right? I mean, it's a tough time, but we're trying to live in a little bit of luxury, right? So I ended up choosing the
Here's our car. So we got a Chrysler 300 here. Not too bad.
The Chrysler 300. That was the nicest that they had. Unfortunately, there was like a Dodge Charger that was like right across, but apparently that was still being cleaned. It wasn't available for rental yet. I was going to wait for it, but I was like, eh. And even though we're not fully through it, and I still have this loaner car for the time being, which I'm fine with. Listen, take as long as you want to fix the car, right? If you want the, the service to last, 3 years, keep my car for 3 years. I'll keep your loaner for 3 years, with free charging and all that. So I'm happy about that. And, and one of the main things is like what I always like to mention, which is, even though I'm still kind of going through it, I was able to use the Bilt Mastercard and this little known, secret of getting Hertz presidential status, which Again, I didn't necessarily need to make all this happen, but it made the whole process that much easier, that much more enjoyable, and now I have a story from it, and I was able to save a little bit of money through presidential Hertz status, and now I can talk about it on this video today, my whole experience. So it's the main reason I love these credit cards, because in a pinch like this during a hurricane, when all these different things are happening and things are breaking, things are crazy, you can rely on these different statuses or these different perks that come on not just this card but any other cards to help you and enhance your life. It's not just about vacations, but enhancing your life in day to day. So I thought that was very, very important. And like I said, I was helping out a local church since they are directly sending some food and whatnot to North Carolina. If I can find it, I'll leave their link in the description below if you want to help support them, because the North Carolinians, man, our friends to the north, just an hour away, are really struggling up there. So we're trying to do what we can while we're pretty much back to normal here in Greenville as much as possible. So as always, thank you guys for being here all the way to the end for this crazy experience and this, ride along. And, I just appreciate every single one of you, everything that, we do in this space. So thank you all for being here all the way to the end. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.